So it's safe to say today didn't necessarily go as planned. Probably the most humiliating moment of my entire life. I didn't even know anything like this was freaking goddamn possible, dude. So first and foremost, I wanted to make this video and say I'm sorry to everybody that was expecting for me to be on the Pat McAfee show today, like an hour ago. Safe to say I expected to be. So I do need to explain what the heck happened, and really do want to say sorry to you guys that did expect for me to be on this show. You guys that took the time out of your day to listen in. And I was there myself. I was looking at the chat. There was a bunch of Corn Squad members there, so I appreciate you guys. But as you guys can tell, I wasn't necessarily on this show in the way that I wanted to be today. So I got made fun of for a solid like 3-4 minutes straight. So that was kind of embarrassing. That was actually really embarrassing. One of the most embarrassing moments of my entire life. But let me explain what happened. So everything like this, every opportunity like this kind of goes through it definitely goes through my talent agency. Like, for example, the Head and Shoulders thing when I went to the Super Bowl, interviewed Troy Polamalu, that kind of stuff. They, like, Head and Shoulders contacts my talent agency. They ask me if I want to do it, and I say yes or no. So same thing happened with the Pat McAfee show. My talent agent texted me this past weekend and said, yo, the Pat McAfee people got in touch with us. They want you on the show. Are you available these days? We're going to give them your numbers so they can set up a time and date. It's like, solid. So I was fully expecting the text message. Like, it went through my talent agency, so obviously, you know, I expected this to be legitimate. So I finally get a text message on Monday night. It says he's Zito from the show, and obviously me being told to expect this, I'm not expecting anything fishy. So I can literally pull the text messages up and read them to you. It makes it even better that the area code is Indianapolis where the show is, but like I'm not even thinking catfishing is a possibility here. Hey Samuel, sorry to bug you so late. This is Zito from Pat McAfee Show. We were just going over next week's schedule. 10:22 around 1:15 Eastern works best for us. We were wondering if that worked for you as well. I said, hey Zito, yes, that works for me. Okay, what Pat has down to talk about is your interview with Troy. And then Madden this season because he's heard about that hashtag that was going around Madden franchise. Is that okay with you? And obviously, like, that makes sense to me because, like, I did the Troy Polamalu video, which was one of Pat's most viewed videos. Like, that didn't surprise me at all. That's kind of what I expected. That's what I expected for him to want me on the show for, although he didn't in the first place, which makes me feel so goddamn dumb, dude. But anyways, I said, yeah, sounds good to me. When is it okay for me to say something about it? Because I wanted to let you guys know that I was going to be on the show. And he said, whenever you'd like. All it does is bring us more views. 115 may change. Taylor Lewan is scheduled before that. And it all depends on how long he's talking to Pat, but I'll keep you updated. So, like, that doesn't, like, who goes the lengths of this to, like, say, hey, we have, like, this particular guest on before you. So, like, that, once again, like, that's when I started posting on social so you guys can know. And then he says, I almost forgot to ask, do you have an iPhone? If so, you'll be getting a FaceTime. If not, we'll have to set up a Skype. And I said, yes, of course, I have an iPhone. And he said, also, I'd like to apologize. When the interview first happened with Troy, Pat told me to get a hold of you to have you on the show. And I completely forgot, so just wanted to give you a heads up that he might bring that up. So once again, that makes sense to me because of the whole entire Troy Polamalu video, and Pat McAfee reacted to it on his show. And he also followed me on Twitter at that time. So I was like, oh, yeah, I think Pat does know who I am, so that kind of made sense. And what really confused me about this all is when I first announced that I was on the Pat McAfee show, which I guess should have raised some questions, is Pat had been following me on Twitter this entire time, ever since the Troy Polamalu interview. And when I announced that, he unfollowed me, I noticed. So I was so confused, but like, I thought it was maybe just a mix-up, like a mistake. And like, so he told me he was going to keep me updated, the Zito did. And I texted him yesterday and had no response. Thought maybe he's just a busy guy. Well, it gets to this morning, and I still haven't heard anything. So I texted him again and said, hey, man, is everything still on? Still no response. So I go to the Pat McAfee show on YouTube, and I'm just typing in the chat, kind of responding to some of the people that obviously are there for me because they're putting the corn emojis and everything. And I saw the guest list, and I wasn't on there, so I was just kind of confused. And so I was like going to Twitter to let everybody know I didn't necessarily know what was going on. I haven't heard back yet. Then I saw one of the guys that worked for the show that had the little mod symbol that like literally was there at the show, said the RBT kid is not coming on here. We're gonna have a lot of disappointed people. So I was so confused. So I went to Twitter again and I was like, hey man, I'm like, apparently I'm not gonna be on the show. I'm so confused. I was kind of aggravated at the time because like they had reached out to me, I thought, and set up a time, and I never heard back, and I already announced this to everybody, so I looked stupid. And then Pat responds to me like a bat out of hell and says, who reached out to you? And then I sent him the screenshots, and then he said something about there being no grammatical errors, which once again just made me feel stupid because, like, I mean, it's true there was, but, like, I wasn't thinking about it in that way because I was told that I was going to be getting a text message from my agency. So, like, I wasn't thinking that a catfish was a possibility whatsoever. So, like, I didn't know. All I knew was I was supposed to be getting a text message to set up this time. So, and like the text messages I got were legitimate, and then it just kind of was embarrassing because on the show they made fun of me a little bit. But I mean, it's not their fault. Like, I mean, I can see it from Pat's perspective because I wasn't necessarily trying to make them look bad on Twitter when I was saying I don't know what's going on. I'm kind of aggravated. I was just aggravated because I didn't know what was going on. And then they, from their perspective, can see that as me like trying to throw them under the bus, which I really wasn't, because in my mind this was a legitimate setup for me to be on the show because of the Troy Polamalu thing, and then this happened. So it is very embarrassing, and I really did want you guys to know what happened because I've been promoting this, and I really do apologize. I just really feel stupid. And if you're the guy that catfished me, like, good goddamn job, dude. You got through my agency, you got through me. Like, I feel so goddamn dumb. Like, of course this has got to happen to me, dude. Like, this has got to happen to me. Of freaking course. Oh, man. So that was aggravating. That's how my day went. 3 days ago, I got told my freaking goddamn lungs are working at 30% capacity, and today I get made to look like an absolute goddamn moron on Twitter and on the podcast. So Jesus Christ. Well, I guess with that, back to making virtual Madden videos. I'm a 25-year-old grown man.